Hey y'all, welcome back to Knitting in Our Jeans. I'm Liz.
I'm Carolyn.
And you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Toolizzforyou, Toolizzforyou.
And I'm cpredmor on Ravelry, and I have been putting rather regularly on Instagram as Knitting in Our Jeans. I posted yesterday.
You did. I did not. I need to do a
remember
catch-up.
to post today.
I need to do a catch-up post.
I have a problem. We got the Switch. My Christmas present came in, which is the Nintendo Switch. It's from Elizabeth and Ben. And I have Animal Crossings and Zelda.
And Pokemon.
And I'm enthralled. The visuals. It's really...
The graphics are top-notch.
Terrific. And I had worked on my socks like a fiend.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just about ready to start the gusset. This is basically my plain vanilla sock in Muststash Yarn. And I was going to do the Vanilla's the New Black reversed gusset just to try it.
Like the heel?
Yeah. And I was knitting so fast and so furiously that my thumbs started to really hurt.
Oh, no.
Yes. And exacerbated by the embroidery.
And the video game playing, I bet.
Well, no, it's a different muscle.
Okay.
Yeah. So, actually, I devolved down into video game playing. So, I did work on this. We'll show you the needle work in a minute. I have gone from 2 needles down to 1 because the weight of the socks is having them behave rather nicely. And, I think if I hadn't gone 120 miles an hour on these things, I might have actually finished them this week because then my thumb wouldn't hurt. I love the color. I think the colors are great.
It's fun.
And we'll see where I get this week. Yes, I may end up with Gamer's Thumb, but not from Zelda, because Zelda's frightening me a little. Not frightening, but testing me a bit. For those of you who are younger and you're going, what? I'm not that fast. And I have to practice moves before I do them. So I've gotten to the point where I can shoot arrows slowly.
Good.
So I can aim, shoot. But the things that you're shooting arrows at tend to move faster. So I have to...
So what you do is you find the high point so you find like the high point vantage point where you can see them, and you hide right behind where you hit the top of it. Sometimes you'll be out of their range of sight anyways, but then you get to the top and you prep yourself so that when you get to the top you can shoot.
Right. Now I got that, but where I'm trying to get to this thing that's hanging...
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I know.
You're following a walkthrough.
That's showing me everything.
It is showing you everything, which is good.
So there's this treasure that's hanging from a rope. I'm supposed to be able to shoot it off the rope.
Oh.
Well, I was shooting an arrow at said rope, and the thing was swinging. I managed to make it swing wildly. And all of a sudden I said, maybe I'll look around and see if those people that wanted to keep this thing are coming around. I got hit on the head. So I have to watch the YouTube walkthrough again to see where does he shoot this thing. I mean, is he shooting the bundle of those? That's really easy. It's because he shoots it once, it drops down. He then does something to cause an explosion, which then disarms 2 or 3 of them, which is helpful. And then he shoots an arrow at another person, which I could do. But there's these... I'm trying to figure out the explosion stuff. So I'm going through this rather methodically.
You're doing great.
Because having watched Elizabeth, I know that she was really focused on trying to pick up all these things that were around.
We are very resource gathering type people.
Yes.
If you play video games at all, you'll understand what I mean by that. We like to make sure we are properly prepared for whatever situation we go into, so we like to have our resources.
It's like having enough yarn.
So...
Yes, we like to have stashes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. So... when I brought it over a few weeks ago and I was playing on the big screen TV, Mom saw that I was collecting all the fruit. I was collecting a whole bunch of mushrooms so that I would be able to increase my stamina or increase, my HP when going into these, raid battles. So Mom, though, found a walkthrough, which is what I'm trying really hard not to do, because part of the sell of Breath of the Wild was that it's open source and you can explore and it's very organic. And I like that.
I don't. I like directions.
You do like directions. So that's why I'm not telling you not to, and why I'm telling you all of the places to get all of the different information.
I don't pick up on environmental clues very easily.
I know. It's okay.
As I find that as I get older and the eyesight gets worse, my ability to pick up on environmental clues drops precipitously. And
unless it has a specific auditory cue, like certain, certain creatures have certain sounds that they make, or
and I usually turn
music,
the sound down
and you turn the sound down anyways. And I have it down lower. I've noticed even with Animal Crossing, it makes fishing easier for me to have the sound up.
Ah, okay.
But yeah.
Anyway.
So we've been playing a lot of video games this weekend.
Yes.
And we are recording late this week because I don't have...
It's President's Day. Happy President's Day.
Yes, and so I don't have to be at work today. So we were able to just take a weekend easy.
To laze.
And to figure out video game stuff.
Yes.
Most of the weekend.
So yeah. Bow and arrows.
Yes. Yes. And your money tree. I taught you about your money tree on Animal Crossing.
Yes, so I planted one.
Good. Good.
I planted two. One yesterday, one today.
Good.
So Animal Crossing's on the Switch is so much more entrancing than it is on the iPad. The iPad, there wasn't enough to do, really. And there were 3 or 4 places you could go. There was a 5th if you wanted to pay them money. Really. And I didn't see what was going... I really couldn't understand the camp expansions and things like that on the iPad. It was more opaque or multi-layered. Not in a good way. Whereas on the Switch, I understand. Here's my house. Oh, go talk to Tom. And he'll tell you what to do next. So I go talk to Tom. He says, oh, you want a bigger room? I said, yeah, I want to go from a small one-room cabin to a bigger one-room cabin. So I'm in the process of, and you can get a mortgage for this. And I'm in the process of paying off the mortgage for that. And then you get another room. She's got a sewing room.
I do.
Yes.
I have a bathroom, a kitchen, and a sewing room. Yes, my bedroom is still currently in my main room. Yeah. It's very funny to most people, but I will have a second floor as of tomorrow.
That's right. So her bedroom can move upstairs, which would make her father very happy because he can't envision the idea of sleeping on the first floor.
He was so funny. He came in and he was like, what are you guys talking about? And I was like, we're talking about my house in Animal Crossing. And he was like, you're on the first floor?
Yeah. Yeah, sheer panic.
Yeah. But you've got your bridge being built.
My bridge is built.
Oh, your bridge is built?
Yes. My bridge is built. The 3 houses for guests. Yes, on this island I can take guests.
Yes. You can have villagers come and live with you.
You can have guests. You can make friends internationally or internetally on the internet. And it just seems to be... and I could make friends on the iPad Switch, but you could give them gifts, but I could never find the place where you bought the gifts. So if I managed to be bequeathed the gift, I could give it away, but then that was it. There weren't enough clues as to what was going on, and I lost interest. So certainly with the Nintendo, the Switch, Lizz is playing it, Ben is playing it, and they can, and now I've got another friend on Animal Crossings who perhaps can also answer a question or two. But it really is, I've gone deep sea diving.
Yes.
And I'm quite good with that, actually.
Good.
I've managed to catch an octopus today.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, and as Father said, this is the type of deep sea diving you are best meant for.
Yes, for video friends. Yeah, absolutely.
If you have not experienced this before, my mother does not particularly enjoy seeing wildlife in the wild.
Close up.
If there is a pane of glass between her and the wild, much better. This way, she gets to experience the going and seeing of the wildlife in the wild, quote unquote, but at a distance because it's on a video game.
You know, things in the wild, you just never know what's going to happen. Although I'm okay with seeing seals in Barnegat Bay.
Okay.
Because we have seen seals in Barnegat Bay, and our boat is big enough that I'm not threatened by the seals. Now, if we saw a shark.
Oh, I expect a FaceTime if you see a shark.
I don't know if I'd manage to find my phone. And the reason that comes up is because they follow the seals. So twice we have been in Provincetown and on the Cape, and there have been not last summer because we weren't sailing up there, but the 2 summers before that, there had been an uptick in the number of shark sightings at Cape Cod. And in fact, there had been a couple people killed by a shark attack. And the first summer that we were up there, someone said, well, don't get in the water with the seals. And I'm thinking, why? What did the seals do? The seals don't do anything to you necessarily, but they are prime food for the sharks. So you don't want to be in the water with seals because there could be a shark case in the joint. And so the first summer we actually saw a seal in Provincetown Harbor. And he swam or, lumbered down one way and then down the other way. And a lot of people in town actually came down to see him. But anybody who was in the water got out of the water. And, enough is enough. Because on the outer coast of the Cape, that's where, up until now that I've heard, they've had the vast majority of shark attacks. So we don't want to teach the sharks that you're tasty in Provincetown. Anyway, since Rich and I are midway through our vaccine shots, I fully expect to be up in Provincetown again this summer, unless we have a boat problem. What kind of boat problem could we have? I
don't know, but I think we should wait to preview that until we have more information.
Okay.
It's not a serious boat problem.
No, No. It's not like the boat has a hole.
Yeah, no, it's not a serious boat problem. It's more the reason I'm pausing us.
It might be an aid.
It might be
of my further desire for boating.
Exactly.
Yes.
But because I am a little leery of the details of this, I would like to wait until we have further details, which is next week or the week after, just because it's sounding slightly too good to be true, and I'd rather not put it out to the universe until we find out.
Fine. So we'll keep you posted. So I think either way, if Provincetown is open, then it's likely that we'll be there this summer.
You're ridiculous. That's great.
What? I'll take my vaccine card.
I know you will.
Walk through town with a mask, but at least I'm not going to get deathly ill. Your father's not going to get deathly ill. At that point, we are at flu level. Mm-hmm. And flu has never kept me home. The threat of flu has never kept me.
I was gonna say, Ma, the flu has kept you home before.
But the threat of flu has not. And I've never worn a mask during flu season.
No, but I think maybe now we do.
Maybe now we do, but I'm just saying with masks on. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And having been vaccinated, I think Provincetown is well within reach again. I'm looking forward to not Newport. Well, Newport, yes. But also the island. Help me. Nantucket. Oh, I love Nantucket. I really do. It's a very walkable town. Mm-hmm. The restaurants are fantastic. Mm-hmm. There was a great yarn store on Nantucket. I don't know whether she's been able to stay afloat or not. I haven't really investigated since we weren't going there next year. My knees are getting better.
Yes.
The unfortunate thing is I can't take aspirin or Advil. Oh, my creatine levels are high.
Oh.
Creatine, whatever. So I'm having to lay off.
Oh, no.
Yes. So there's some pain because of
Inflammation, probably.
Well, yeah.
Residual inflammation.
And I think if I'd been able to take an Advil, I wouldn't feel them at all.
Mm.
So the answer is my knees are doing much better.
Yeah.
I'm continuing to do exercises and stretches and all of that. And I think, as you all know, that after I tore the meniscus, it took me a year plus to get feeling semi-good after that.
Yeah.
Plus, the fact is, it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
And I did notice after the meniscus tear that I noticed the weather a lot more. So I think as the weather gets warmer, the knees will probably do quite well. Do you realize we've been in quarantine for about 11 months now?
Yes, because we will have gone over a year between being able, you and I hugging. We stopped hugging on like the 19th of March.
Right. This is February. What
I'm saying is because we have to wait like 2 or 3 weeks after your second vaccine to be fully, we will have gone a full year between hugs, which is crazy for our family.
Yes, it is.
It's okay when I know I said it last week. I'm going to keep saying it. I cried when she told me she got the injection because I was like, yes, we can hug.
My alumni know that, I say hi and it's big hugs. And I think that many of the alumni were thrilled with that. Mm-hmm. Because most people aren't that excited about seeing their former students. I love them. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
So anyway, we've been playing a lot of video games.
Yes, and I finished the main part of my blanket.
It looks lovely.
I just finished picking up the entire border. My question is do I do a row of knit and then do an I-cord bind off?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Because I think it'll look really nice with an I-cord bind off with the garter.
I think it'll be very pretty. And the colors are looking really good. I think with that border in yellow,
it'll look really good.
Really brighten it up.
The child who this is for was born this week. I was not aware that she was due so soon. I thought I had another 2 weeks before the recipient would be
here
joining us, but apparently I was wrong.
Well, you were 2.5 weeks early.
Yeah, and one of our other friends did mention that a fair number of babies born during this time have been early. Just as a anecdotal kind of thing.
Well, you're a January child and you were supposed to be February.
I know. I was
so
supposed to be now time.
Yes, you were. You were supposed to be a Valentine's Day baby.
Yeah, instead I was a birthday gift for Nana.
That's right.
A week late.
A week late, yes.
She still tells me that every so often when she remembers. On my birthday, when she remembers.
My mom's doing fine. She is quarantining in her apartment. She did have her first vaccine. She should be coming up on the second one relatively soon. They're doing it by phone call. So she is getting a phone call from her doctor's office letting her know when to call this other number. Okay. So that's the way they're doing it in Virginia for the superannuated cohort. But she seems to be fine. We spoke to her last night. She stayed on the phone for 15 minutes.
For 50 seconds.
50 seconds, you're right. We think
it was less than a minute. It was around 9 o'clock, so we think it was during primetime TV watching. Yeah. Because for me, she doesn't keep me on the phone longer than about 2 minutes. For you, though, she stays about 15.
On and we repeat things and all of that. She didn't even ask how you were.
No, I noticed that.
This was very odd. So we think
there was something on TV. Or she had a guest. I don't think so. I'm teasing.
I don't think so. Because it's, quarantine.
Well, and also, she very rarely had guests before anyways. Yes. So.
She's in an apartment building of older people, but you don't have to be older to be in the apartments. Yeah. I mean, you could be any age. And, they have in the past had dinners on the hall, but it doesn't happen a lot. It's not quite as friendly as I think the various neighborhoods that she's lived in. Yes. But anyway, so she's fine.
Yes, we believe that she was just distracted by a television show.
Yes, so she's doing fine. I did a lot of work on my cross stitch. So I have Now, I will tell you that I have moved the scrim down.
Okay.
So that I can get my top line of stitching in right there. This had been hidden. I was able to get up to here previously, so I've moved it down because I figured it's nice to have this much space, but why not grab at least the top? Then I can say this is finished.
Yeah.
When I get and then just move down here, reposition it, and do the bottom. So the first 2 columns are done. I'm now working on these 2 columns.
Nice.
And I really like it.
It's beautiful.
So, I'm having such a good time with this. And you do know that I have bought lots of kind of cross stitch.
Yes. What did you do now?
But I told Elizabeth last night, last week, you gave me supposedly a way to create Bayeux tapestry figures. I have
the app, yes.
Yeah, I have yet to figure this one out.
Okay.
So unless Ben can figure out how one does this, either on the computer,
I can show you it,
or on the iPad, I bought a rounded cross stitch of the Bayeux tapestry.
I forgot you had told me this. She's so excited, y'all. Can you see the excitement?
And for those of you who don't know what the Bayeux tapestry is, the Bayeux tapestry is a 1 foot tall by 900 feet crewel embroidery that was done by that had been asked for, created, commissioned, that's the word, by the Bishop of Bayeux, who happened to be the brother of William the Conqueror, and it depicts the origins of the relationship between King Harold and William the Conqueror. Now, Harold was a British relative of the reigning king, who was Edward something. Whether it was Edward the Confessor, I don't remember. But Edward didn't have any children, so he was going to, the throne was going to go to one of his relatives, one of which was William the Conqueror. But he was in France. And if you go into France and you're in the Bayeux Tapestry Museum, they will tell you that, William had saved Harold in their youth, and they'd actually been good friends, and, he had gotten Harold's word that he would support William and all this other kind of stuff. Turns out, in the British version of this, that William had commissioned brigands to go and capture Harold, so that then he could let Harold go and make Harold feel beholding to him. So there's wheels and machinations within wheels and machinations. Who knows? None of us were there at the time. Anyway, This tapestry is gorgeous. We've seen it ourselves. There is some browning of the linen, but not a whole lot. So I'm not going to do crewel embroidery, nor am I going to do 900 feet, but they actually have a kit from the museum. So I'm supporting local to France business. This is not an Amazon buy, nor...
This is supporting a museum in France.
Exactly. And they had a counted cross stitch. And I think I'm getting one that's relatively square. So they've got a boat scene, they've got some horses, they've got little bits and pieces of what the entire tapestry will be about. I think it'll be fun. It may take me years. Who cares? Who cares? Once we're back on the boat or when we're at home,
Well, you can put it on the scrolls that you have, too. That sounds like a good scroll project.
I think so. So I'm really excited about all this. I got an email saying it's being ready for shipping.
Oh.
I think it's going to take a month. I really do. It's coming from France. It's going to take a month. And it wasn't... I think it was twice as expensive as maybe one of the ones I've gotten here in the United States. So really not bad.
Those, you mean?
Yeah. So I didn't think it was that bad. And we've seen it. Mm-hmm. So it spoke of history. I still
remember your students being like, why are we going to see this tapestry? And I was like, do not let my mother hear you say that. They were like, but it's a what is so important? I was like, do you really want me to go into this, or to bring her over here and to tell you how important this is to just the history of Britain and France and, William the Conqueror. And they were like, oh no. Okay. We'll be quiet.
Yes.
I was like,
I think they enjoyed it, actually.
They did, once they were there.
I mean, we didn't take them to the Lace Museum.
No.
That might have been a step too far.
Maybe.
And in fact, in the 2 times I've been there, the Lace Museum has been closed.
Yes.
The museum, they're co-joined now, and apparently it's a little bit more modern now. And the website has quite a lot of really nice photos of the kind of lace that was being made in the area. It is bobbin lace. Mm-hmm. I have yet to figure out how to do bobbin lace, and with this brain, I never will. It's just, that's a step too far. But it apparently is gorgeous, and had I started this when I was 20, I might have been able to handle bobbin lace. But anyway, so it's a very interesting area of the country that does a lot of fine needlework. And the Biter Tapestry, I just couldn't pass it by. So anyway, I have done this. I'm going to finish this part tonight, and I will look down this 4th column to kind of fill in there. So that's my goals for this week, is to finish out these 2.
I was going to say, because you've also got space here.
That's
just
open.
empty?
That's empty.
Okay.
That is empty.
This is a very interesting textural piece.
Yes.
Because it's like half fulfill and half not.
Right. So no, when they actually mean for you to use white, they have
a white, yeah.
Yes.
But now because the scrim is a light blue, they're using that.
Right. So
it's very
I have
interesting.
Clouds here. Yeah, and I didn't know it when I bought it. So anyway, there are things that are left blank in the directions, and totally blank means leave them blank. Mm-hmm. So it does mean some of my pencil may show, and I'll just wash it gently like one does a sweater. And I think that will be fine, because I've only been penciling on, not using pen or anything else, and it's number 2 pencil, so it's relatively soft.
Well, and it's just funny, because like if you had told me when you were working down here that you were going to have open workspace, I would have said, well, what do you mean? It's a full fill.
Cover. Right.
It's a full coverage pattern.
But
apparently not.
So anyway, it's moving along, and I'm enjoying this. I mean, I think all of us in our crafts, we go through various cycles of what we'd like to be doing. And at the moment, I'd like to be doing this. Now, I will work on those socks this week. I didn't do anything on the embroidery. I think between the snowfalls and my thumbs, I didn't really think about doing the embroidery on my dress. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. We've had something like 18 inches out of 3 snowfalls, and
within 2 weeks.
Yeah. So I've been out shoveling. My job is to shovel the front steps and the front walk, or as we said before, getting ready for the mail carrier. And then Richard, this last one, it was a Sunday, and I went out. After it was Super Bowl Sunday, so I went out at 6 o'clock and shoveled, 5 o'clock, and shoveled around my car, knocked the snow off my car, Rich's car, but I only did a shovel's width, because we have a snowblower that I cannot start, and he said he was going to go out. Well, by 8 o'clock.
Spoilers for you at home, he didn't go out until late.
He didn't go out till the next day.
Oh, you didn't tell me that part.
He didn't go out till the next day. So anyway, the little girl across, not little, but she's shorter than I am. She's probably 17. Her father sent her over.
I was going to say, she's younger than I am and shorter than you, so you have determined her to be little.
And her father sent her over to ask if she could finish shoveling. And I said, oh, that's really sweet, but my husband's going to go out at some point, and he's going to finish. I mean, I really could have shoveled the whole thing, but what's the point if you have a snowblower? And I know that if we could get it off, then the sun would keep it melted and it would be safe. He didn't go out to the next day when he was cutting through ice. I don't care. I cleaned the car, so if we had to go someplace, we could get someplace. I had one carter, so the tires on one side of my car could hit pavement. I could get out. Yeah. I have a, front-wheel drive, four-wheel drive? Four-wheel drive. Car, not as good as the Ford I used to have where it had four-wheel drive low. I could climb mountains in that thing. Yeah. I could get out of mud sumps in that thing. I did like that car in terms of its capability for moving around. I know. Anyway, why didn't I get it when I got this one? Well, they hadn't improve the mileage on the Ford Explorer.
The gas mileage, yeah.
Yes, the gas mileage. In the 11 years I had the car. So I really was tired of only getting 13 miles to the gallon. They've improved since then.
Yes.
Anyway. So,
tangent. So, yes, so it's been a bit rough in terms of, for the last 2 weeks, in terms of productivity, per se, because the storms really just knock you and I out.
Well, and I tend to watch the Weather Channel.
You do. Oh, you do.
And then I got sucked into my video games. So,
yes.
You know, I'm actually, because I'm understanding the progression in all of, all of the video games, much better on the Switch than when similar things were on the iPad. Mm-hmm. They seem to be fully formed games, and I think that's making a big difference. Not that I gave up gaming on the iPad or on the phone either. No. Yes, I'm a serious problem with gaming, but I learned to read, so I think it's okay. Well, when I was running the youth group, one of the kids said, my parents won't let me play video games. I said, why? I said, well, they were afraid I won't do my homework. I've done my homework. Yeah. You know, I learned to read. At one point, I could do math problems. You know, it was like,
that's why you have a daughter who has an engineering degree now.
You know, I understand that you could get sucked in and not want to stop doing all this kind of stuff, but it's too cold to go out. Many of the people around here don't have sidewalks that are shoveled to the point where I would feel comfortable walking the block. So there's no point in going out and walking around the block in this weather. I did get on the treadmill this morning, so I've ridden the bicycle, I've done the treadmill, I've done my stretches, I've done all that. So the goal this week is also to do all of that every other day, and with an eventual goal of being able to do it every day without having the knees going. Oh. Yes. No, the knees tomorrow will feel good. Mm-hmm. Right now they're going. So, you know, it's not a big problem. Not a big problem at all. No. Diet is going well. I continue to lose 0.5 pound a week. Good. So I'm happy with that. So that part is excellent. So
you want to see what else I've been working on?
I would love to see what else you've been working on.
So I left my blanket in my, by my office desk one day, and I finished the bell of
I love that
sleeve, and now, I started the lace. Open? It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge.
Huge and open. It's not going to come down to a cuff. See, I would like it
with a
cuff because I tend to hook things.
You do. I do too, but it's a look.
Like this, and suddenly I'm going to have 6 things.
Oh, I do too, but it's a look that I'm very
I think it's excited be gorgeous.
For. So I started the lace. I have, I think, one more row of the first set. I'm going to do 6 sets in total. But yeah, I've got all my little stitch markers marking my repeats. I think I'm going to get one sleeve done, and then the other sleeve, and then finish the body. Is my plan.
That's great. I think it's going to be gorgeous.
Yeah.
Now that's a cardigan.
No, it's a pullover. Cropped pullover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought you were going to wear it over dresses.
I am.
Okay.
And then I finished.
Oh, how pretty!
The other building that's next to Royal Hawaiian. My next is there's a tower that goes right here. So I'm going to do that tower. I think so. And then I'm going to finish up the beach kind of situation that's here. And then there's another level down here. So I think I'm going to finish this section of the pattern first and then move up and over.
Okay.
But yeah, I showed it to the eventual recipient and they are very excited about that.
Good.
I also started another Pinguino for Jack, for my freshman roommate's son.
Oh, did you?
So it's going to be in a tan, this brown, and 2 shades of green. He is 1 and 3 months, but he's in size 2 or 3 clothing. So I'm making him the 2 to 3 year old size.
Yes.
Because he's a chonker. He's a chonker,
Well,
but he's adorable. So I get photos of him every so often.
Well, his dad's not little, and neither is his mother.
No, they're both tall people. So I think
Yeah.
he will be a tall human.
Right. It reminds me, that's like Joe.
Well, yeah. And also it's funny because his, my roommate's brother is very tall.
Yeah. So I mean, they are going to be,
cute.
They get chubby and then they shoot up and they get chubby and then they shoot up. Or at least that's what you all did. So I'm not surprised.
I'm not either. It's just she's funny because she'll call and just be like, "Oh my God, he's a ham." Like he's like a Thanksgiving turkey. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, you had a child. This is what happens.
Yeah, and they just keep getting bigger.
But he's really cute. So he's gonna be finally getting his sweater. I will probably actually pull. I'm debating, depending on how quickly this will actually probably be done tonight.
Probably.
And then
going into work tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to be. I don't know. I have to determine the stash to see if this baby will also be getting a sweater as well. But I think the blanket.
I think the blanket would be sufficient.
Will be sufficient. I think it just depends on my motivation. Because I do have delayed gifts for my niece and a few other people that I want to get going.
Well, then I think.
I know.
That might take
the blanket, is enough.
I do. It's pretty.
Thank you.
I think
it'll be well used. It's
warm.
warm.
So too. On your lap?
Yeah. It's nice. It's a nice. I like using the Karen.
Good.
I like using the Karen. It's not, as I said before, sometimes it's a little squeaky because it's, the acrylic, but I think that's great for little kids.
For little kids, having it machine washable and dryable is perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, so I think I'll finish it this week. I'll weave in ends, and then I'll bring it back and throw it in the washer and dryer on super high, and then bring it over at the end of the month or something like that.
That sounds good.
But I also...
Now what?
I have acquired some yarn. So...
Okay.
It was, as you mentioned, it was Super Bowl.
It was.
Our local
and
yarn
you were home
shop.
By yourself.
Mm-hmm, our local yarn shop held an online sale.
I didn't go on.
I did.
I should have gotten some Kid Silk Haze. Or whatever is the equivalent, but I didn't.
So, I did.
And she sent it to you?
Well, no, I went in and got it.
Oh, okay.
But I have it here. And then I also got yarn from a friend. So, if you give me a second, I want to start this I-cord.
Someone just gave you yarn?
Yes, a friend of mine is Marie Kondoing her closet, and she's not knitting or crocheting as much, so...
Really?
Yeah, so she gave me... We had a FaceTime call, and she ended up just sending me a big box of yarn. There are two that I don't... Like, I didn't bring all of that with me. Mm-hmm. There are 2 sets of yarn in that have some sentimental meaning, so I think I'm going to make definitely things for her.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because... Even if she doesn't have the mojo to make them, I might as well.
Good.
So, all right. I have gotten this 3-needle, not 3-needle bind off I-cord started. I kind of like the chunkiness of doing it with the 9s.
I love it.
I think that fits well. If I hadn't have done that extra, it would have butted right up against it. But I think that's fine having that space.
I like it that way.
Okay. What we're talking about, so that you all know, is right here. I started this I-cord, and there's that little space in between. I am doing this on a size 9 needle. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze.
Bless you.
Thank you. This is being done on a size 9 needle. The blanket was done on a size 6. Because I'm essentially picking up on the bias, I thought that was the best plan. Also because I didn't have any 7s or 8s in my set, in my interchangeable set. So we're just going to go with it.
They're being used for something else.
So there's this pattern that was released this weekend, or this week. That's just lovely. And it's a brioche sweater. And if you give me a second, I will open it up. And I just fell in love with it. I think it's just
it's very
so
much you.
dainty, but also like throw it on and comfortable. So it's the Earth and Air by James N. Watts. And it's brioche. And it's oversized. And I think it's just a lovely throw it on sweater. And so my friend had sent me this beautiful burgundy. And I had this steely gray left over from my love note.
That is gorgeous.
And so I think this might happen once this blanket is done because I want something quick and easy and feel like I've accomplished something because everything else feels like it's taking too long. But I think that sweater will be much faster.
Okay.
So then what I got, so that's part of what I got from a friend of mine. And then what I got at the yarn shop was a whole bunch of stuff. So I got, this is Barocco Fuji, which is silk, cotton, rayon, and nylon.
Very nice.
I'm debating making it into a sweater for the knee sling.
But it's
for like
friendly.
It is.
I wouldn't make it for the knee sling then.
But I have enough yarn for the knee sling. I don't necessarily have enough yarn for me. It's 125 yards per skein.
Oh.
Yeah. So we'll see.
So that's 2, 5, 6. It's 7, 25.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm still kind of playing around with it in my head, but it's really pretty.
Color.
Yeah, I don't think I want to do that though.
Okay.
So then I also picked up some classic alpaca tweed in some colors.
Ooh.
Do some color work. So I've got a gray, I've got a tan, I've got more of the burgundy in the bag, and I've got one of these purples.
Is that for a colorwork sweater?
Probably. So that's that. And then for a baby blanket for a coworker of mine, I picked up.
Oh, how pretty. Oh, that's gorgeous.
Having.
Oh, lovely.
So I picked these up. I have a pattern. I can't remember what I picked for it. It's saved on my work computer. So
right.
I will see it when I go home. And once I cast it on, you all will know what it is. So yeah, so I got that.
Okay.
And then, this is lovely stuff. So then I picked up some of this Symmetry yarn, which is an alpaca wool blend in this green and gray.
That's pretty.
And this is going to be for a Wood Lane pullover.
Ooh.
Which, if I can pull up
a full picture,
I think it's
really
just
pretty.
Really pretty. I would need one more color, which I think they have at our yarn shop still, so I'll be able to pick something up. So my main color will be green. I think where it's black, it'll be the gray, and then I'm hoping that they have either a navy or something, but I'll call over there this coming up week and find out. And then one last thing.
Wow.
I know.
You went to town last Sunday.
I made out like a bandit. So that's that sweater. And then this is Studio Linen, which is 85% viscose, 15% linen. And we all know how I've been kind of on a linen kick because I really love my sweaters that I do have that have been part of linen. I think I'm going to make a Maryanna, and with this lovely dusty mauve as the main color and this navy as the rest of it. I have more of this Dusty Rose in the bag. I just can't get to it. And so that's going to be this Maryanna.
Very pretty.
So yeah. So the only two things that don't have a plan are the classic alpaca tweed and this rayon, the Fuji. So we'll just give it some time. Let it
percolate.
Let it percolate. We'll see. But yeah, so I am very excited about that.
You should be.
And I'm excited because I was able to get at least one of the other baby blankets bought for that I need to make before the summer. So that's good.
Nice.
Other things that I am percolating on. I don't know. I'm on a very big, let's just do things kick.
Well, it's coming to be spring.
Yeah,
and so the possibilities of being able to do things again also is coming open.
Well, I don't think it's even just that, but it's I want to do more projects. I want to do more variety of projects.
Hey, you got the energy. Go.
I know. It's what I'm trying to do.
All right.
What I'm trying to do. Oh, and then for my birthday, my best friend got me some stitch markers that have RBG on them. I can't really show them very well, I'm realizing. They have RBG on them. And then it's a needle gauge that also has RBG, and on the back, her descent collar. So yeah, I really love it. I meant to show you all this last week when it came, but I forgot them downstairs. So yeah, so that's kind of what I'm up to. I also have been working, or I haven't worked on this week, that black work.
Right.
But the next week did come out, so I will get on that. I'm only 1 week behind. That's not bad.
That's not bad. It's not bad at all.
But yeah,
I got mail.
You got mail.
The new Knits magazine came out. Yeah. And they're looking forward to spring. And they're... Goodness me. I like that.
Yeah.
I'll show you all in a minute. They are looking at green-friendly yarns.
So eco yarns?
Eco yarns. So knit green. If you're looking to make your knitting more sustainable, try experimenting with an organic cotton. And so they have a whole article about that, and they're highlighting four different manufacturers. We have Echo Butterfly Organics. We have Blue Sky Fibers Printed Organic Cotton. Schoppel Yarn Zauberball Crazy Cotton. I've worked with Zauberball wool, and I do like it.
I do have to say, I find that very interesting that they're promoting the cottons as being the eco-friendly option, because
wait a minute, there's also Appalachian Baby organic cotton.
I was just saying, because it does take a lot of water to produce cotton in yarn or in fabric form. So, interesting that that's what they've decided to go with for, thinking eco-friendly.
Yes, but,
each their
you'll
own.
have to do some research and see. So here's
she says as she works on an acrylic blanket. I understand.
Photo montage of what they're going to be talking about here. Let's see if I can get this to go. So I like the pink lacy pullover. I would put some more waist shaping in it for myself.
Yeah.
It is the Vernal Awakening pullover. And then, here's something that I thought you would like.
It's cute.
The Daydreamer tee. And again, I think in one of those wool cotton blends, it would be really nice for the summer. And again, it's a little too boxy for my taste and a little short. So I would make it longer, and I would put in waist shaping. So that's the Daydreamer tee. I did like this. This, and again, one of those wool cottons called the Moonstruck Sweater. I could see wearing this on a summer's night out on the boat. Yeah. And it would be so nice to have. Yeah. And it's got that relaxed neck. Let's see. There. I think that looks fantastic. And the open work lace in the front would make sure that you weren't too hot. we saw a video, or I don't know if you were in the room with me, but a video on Victorian dress versus modern dress.
Yes,
and how hot one was. Just because you have fewer clothes on doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be less hot, but certainly the constituent parts to your clothing make a difference, and I find that the wool cotton breathes so well, and I think that would be good. This is a sweater that has a very modest front, a fairly daring back, and the only reason I'm not really taken with it is because I don't like sweaters that tie in the back. It's a bit cumbersome for me. First of all, usually I'm getting dressed, my husband's still asleep. A tie in the back that is so critical as this is. I mean, I had made that one sweater where I just made it instead of a tie. I just said, well, here's enough length for me to get my head through, and that's all I really need. Right. And perhaps you could do that with this so that it would be a static tie rather than one that would have to be tied each time.
I mean, with my ginkgo, I just leave it tied.
Right. It hasn't grabbed me yet.
It's cute.
But it might. It's called the First Blush Sweater. And it is cabled, lightly cabled. Delicate cables, I guess we could call it. If I could turn one page at a time. There we go. Here is the sweater that I do like. I know it's boxy, but for somehow its construction.
It's the split hem with that side with the deep split.
It has detail enough for me, I think.
And it's that herringbone hem.
Yeah, and it's uneven. It seems to be enough detail. I do like detail in my sweaters. I might not make it the round neck. I might make it a V-neck, but I do like this. It's called Early Morning Pullover. I could see putting that on, going out and getting the newspaper, having your first cup of coffee. Absolutely. This is the Gentle Rain Pullover, and solid back, lacy front. Looks delectable. It really does.
Yeah.
It shouts me, doesn't it?
It does.
I think I would have to do all the shaping on the back side.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want to mess up the lace pattern. And then this is called the Subtle Spring Tee. I'm not sure that it's been blocked, but it's cute. Not laying as flat as it might.
Yeah.
But I do like the design.
As the Knitmores say, sometimes there are photography choices and there are knitwear design choices. This looks like there was a photography choice. It looks beautiful. I think if you're looking for a lace yoke or a lightly laced yoke sweater, I think this is definitely should be put into the running.
And you could make it a color work.
You could make it color work, yeah.
Easily. They are suggesting cotton, extra fine merino, and cashmere will keep you warm on brisk mornings and cool and sunny afternoons. So they're suggesting Fibra Natura Ravello. Then there's this.
Which we both like. And would modify.
I obviously would have to have waist shaping and make it much more of a A-line shape.
I would pull up that waistband and make it a waistband and make it a very significant A-line or even a circle skirt.
But it's gorgeous. I would have it with I'd make it with something with a slight shimmer to it. I think it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. This is called the Hopeful Romantic Top. Here's the back. Just as stunning as the front.
Yeah.
It really is pretty. Very, very pretty.
Yeah.
Be a pretty dress.
That's what I was saying.
Oh, that's what you were saying.
I was saying as a dress.
Okay. That works. I could see it as a top over, slim pants. The way it is.
Yeah.
So, there's more to this.
There is. There's a whole section of shawls that are very interesting construction.
I really am. The instructions for that one top go on for 4 pages. Then they talk about hilarious knitting disasters. They were trying to teach a computer with AI to design knitwear patterns, and it didn't go so well. Something in the programming, they didn't have the machine looking at the whole project. but it may be too much for programming at the moment. This is called the Ephemeral Shawl, and you've got knitting going in 2 different directions.
Very nice.
And I think it would be stunning. I love the colors they chose. Those certainly are my colors. This is called the Floreation Wrap. And again, I think if I wore wraps to any amount of time, this would be one I certainly would make because I think it looks absolutely fascinating. It's a nice long one. And I love the eyelet design that's in between the major stripes. I think it looks really doable and really comfortable.
I like the brioche one. It looks pretty.
Yes. The Snow Blossom Shawl. And it does look just scrumptious. I would imagine it would feel really good, too, with that brioche. So very nice. And this is a lace and stripe shawl.
Lace and garter?
Yes. River dye. River dye shawl. And, whoops. And I think it's absolutely fascinating with that lace in it. Again, I just don't really wear shawls. So
yeah.
Here's the Dayflower shawl. Now this looks asymmetrical to me.
Yeah.
And it's got 2 different patterns on it. The gray is one pattern and the green is another, both kind of somewhat open work. And I think it's stunning. Absolutely stunning. If you wear shawls, this would be great. Then there's some socks
There's
in
some
here.
really fun socks.
Look at this. Look at that. It's called Emerging Roses. Just gorgeous. Then this is Frondescent, so with ferns. Frondescent socks.
They're both cute.
They really are. They really are. Nice patterning on both on the soles. So here you've got this pattern here. And on this one, you've got a lovely pattern there. I just, imaginative design. Really, really pretty. Is there any more?
No, I think that's
that's
the end
it.
of them.
I think that's it. And then there's this article on frogging sweaters. And she had made a sweater. It fit well. She just didn't like it. Very much like some of the ones I gave away to the 50/50 shop. And she said, you know, her friends told her not to frog it. Why would you do that? She frogged it. And she's so happy. Sometimes we just have to ravel a project and try again. I don't love everything I knit, and that's okay. In the end, it's the process that means the most to me, even if no one else sees it that way. She was happy with the yarn. She said, in her mind, that yarn didn't fit that pattern, and it wasn't right in her vision of herself. And so she was happiest when she took it apart. So I don't think we should be afraid of taking things apart or doing any kind of modifications that we want to do. And try it. And if you don't like it, unravel it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you've cut something. In sewing, often we've cut something, and so you can't make many alterations. In fact, that's one of the reasons why couture sewing has seam allowances of at least 1 inch or 1.5 inches that allows them to play with how the garment's going to be put together in case they want to make changes.
But also why, with historical costuming kind of garments, there's always that phrase of piecing is period. Because back then they didn't always have the exact right amount of fabric.
Right.
You couldn't always get it, so you pieced it together in at the back inside the pleat or under the arm or
Well, I had a blouse and skirt that I was making when I was a senior in college, and I made the skirt and I cut the main part of the front and the back of the blouse out, and when it came to the sleeves, and these were beautiful wide frilly flutter sleeves, I didn't have enough to cut both sleeves in one.
Ooh.
So I took all my pieces of fabric and I sewed them together, and I made both sleeves patchwork.
Good.
And I loved it. I just loved it. And everybody thought it was a design feature. So, yeah, we are the masters of our own kingdoms when it comes to our crafts. And I think that's very freeing. Some people might find it frightening. but I find it very freeing. So I'm really happy with the whole thing. Yes. And I have nothing else.
I think that is all from myself as well.
In that case, I hope you have a really good week. I hope you're not snowed in, iced in, all those other ins. And I hope that February lightens its touch on us. Because,
I don't think it will, but
one
you can
one
be hopeful.
February can sometimes be the weirdest month, and March up until the Ides of March. So I often thought when I was teaching the spring semester, just holding my breath until like March 20th, because it could snow like the dickens anytime up till then. So we've got at least another month to go with the prospect of possible bad weather, knowing from history what it can do. But other than that, keep safe, keep well, wear your mask, wash your hands,
and we will talk
and get your shots if you can.
Yeah.
All right.
And we will talk to you all again next week.
All right.
Bye. Y'all.